Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. As I mentioned last Wednesday, I haven't spent much time in the workshop this week. We've been really busy at work and I've actually haven't sort of do physical work for a living and I'm certainly not used to it. Anyway, tonight's nightcap. I do a banjo bolt. I make a banjo bolt for a friend. He has an issue with an engine block and he comes to me for help and I'm only too happy to help a lad out. So I make a banjo bolt which actually has a lot of machining in it, has a little bit of turning, some screw cutting, some drilling, some milling. Interesting little job. Next weekend I'll be at the NEC with my wife Deborah. I'll be spending a lot of time there on the RTX stand and also on the Extreme Plasma stand. I'm there all 3 days. If you do decide to go to the NEC, it'd be great for you to come and say hello, shake my hand, because I really don't bite. I've mentioned quite a bit about boilers lately, boilers added in the steam generating type of boiler, and I'm sort of collecting material to make a steel boiler, but I have got all the material required to make a copper boiler. I did show flanging plates a while ago. I've made a start on it. It's on the parenting channel at the minute. Not 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be coming on to here, but it's quite an interesting looking project. I can TIG weld copper, but I haven't got any paperwork to say I can TIG weld copper. So I'm going to use the old-fashioned or the traditional method of silver solder. Quite a big thing it is, so it's going to be interesting to see if I can get enough heat up to do the job. There's a good friend of mine got a problem with an engine block on the car. It's got some damaged threads in an oil hole. That's the thread there. It's 16 by 1.5, which is a very common automotive thread. I've got a 16 by 1.5 tap. I've borrowed a die, not a good die, but it is a die. I've got a bit of hexy bar. Now the hole is actually 10mm deeper than that, so what I'm going to do is make him a new banjo bolt 10mm deeper, and that should hopefully get him out of trouble. The die isn't capable of cutting a thread, it'll clean the thread up, so I'm going to screw cut it and use the die to clean it up. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background. I've got my new diesel heater running and I'm very pleased with it. It really is nice and warm in here now, very bearable. I don't like being cold. I'm certainly not going to be cold at home. This is just a bit of ordinary mild steel hexy bar, nothing special. I'm going to do the threads first because that's going to be the hard part. The rest of it's fairly easy. Right, that's dead on 16mm. A nice square shoulder in there. I'm going to put a groove in here, 0.75 deep, 0.75 a side, that's the depth of the finished thread. That's just for the stroke cutting tool to drop into. Need to make sure that the tool is square to the job. Simply by doing that, we know it is. I know it's on centre height because I use this all the time. Just going to touch the tool off and set to 0. Put a bit of cut on and then we're kind of ready to go. I might slow this down a gear, I think. Not in a great hurry to get this done. That's better. Right. So just check, in fact we are cutting a 1.5 pitch thread. Yep, spot on. Right, we're going to do another cut on the same setting. Spring cut. Give it a little bit more and then we'll run the die down it. This is an adjustable die and I've got it set on full slack. All I want to do is clean the threads up. You see, the die is good enough to clean the thread, but it wouldn't cut one. And the idea is to have the thread nice and tight in the hole. Unfortunately, the sound gremlins have struck again, so I'm going to do a voiceover for the rest of the video. I don't particularly like doing voiceovers, but that's what I'm going to be doing. First thing is to find the centre. This method is really quick and very accurate. Use the centre drill first to make sure it doesn't move off to one side. Get a nice sharp start, and straight through with the final drill size, which is the same size as the oil ports in the original fitting, right through both sides all in one go. This is where we can use the hex bar to our advantage. We can turn it across the index 180 degrees and then simply drill either two holes straight through all in one go. Because we've got this on the flats of the bar, not the points, we need to pick up the centre again. Simply by using that ruler method is more than accurate enough for this particular application. Once again, start off with a centre drill, then move across to the correct size drill for the oil port. We've lost the sound altogether now. At least I have found out the fault. We had a broken wire in the feet of the radio mic, so hopefully that'll be the sound gremlins all set behind me now. There'll be some nasty rags inside the pipe fitting, but once I put it back in the lathe and drill it out to the final size, it'll clean all them up. I'm going to put a nice little countersink in each of the 4 holes just to help the oil flow more freely. I've got a nice little countersink tool that'll do the job. I've actually got a set of these. I did a review on them a while ago. They were Banjo specials. They've been really good. They've been no problem at all for this sort of work. We'll move back across to the lathe now. I'm going to drill this out to final size, which will also clean up the inside of those holes. We want no loose bits of metal and rags in there. I've turned the job around the lathe. I'm just going to reface the end now. So there's a little pip left in the centre. That means that the tool isn't exactly on centre height. And I don't know why I'm doing that, because the bastard thing will cut my finger. The last machining process is just to put a chamfer on the edge of the fitting we've just made. It looks better. That's a lot safer as well. There's still a little pip in the centre. It's not quite on set. I keep doing that. I filmed this probably 2 weeks ago. We did go and put this pipe union back in the engine block, and it did fix the job, no problem at all. You can see that's the old and the new, a good 10 mil longer. Once again, just to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always a massive thanks for all the well wishes. I've been told to bang on about mental health, so I am going to bang on about mental health. If I mention it and one person just goes and gets a little bit of help, or talks to his friends, his partner, talk to anybody, don't bottle it up, please. You do need to get help. I mean, I was in a mess and I went and got help, and if it hadn't been for that help, I don't know honestly where this would have ended up. And I'm supposed to be a big, rough, tough Geordie. Blokes don't talk about mental health. Well, I'll tell you what it is, you want to start now. Anyway, thanks for watching.